talk on screen with hands worldwide in the in-between. Come on now, don't be gone. We're at W5KUB.com. Tuesday's here, it's that time again. MF, fire up the rig, call your friends. Grab your coffee, pull up a chair. MF, we're going live and the gang's all there. Tom W5KUB's in control, streaming the show with a whole lot of soul. At W5KUB.com we unite. Ham radio magic every Tuesday night. It's the best ham radio show online. Online. Amateur radio roundtable every time. Glenn K, W5GP, tech so bright. Brett WY7BG, signals just right. Hey, and Mark P's there in the chat room too. And laugh and learn and sending questions through. Tune in 8 p.m. the moment's right. At W5KUB.com Tuesday night. There's a chat room buzzing, full of cheer and talk with the hosts, they're always near. Building antennas, talking DX dreams, living that life on the ham radio scene. From soldered rigs to the latest news, solar flares or a vintage tube. Come as you are, everyone's tight. We're family here on a Tuesday night. It's the best ham radio show online. Am I? Amateur radio roundtable every time. Glenn K, W5GP, tech so bright. Brett WY7BG, signals just right. And Mark P's there in the chat room too.
Hello to Randy out there. And hello, K8WX. Hadn't seen you in a while. You're always lurking around.
On the roundtable, we all align. Every rig and every key tells a story wild and free. It's the best ham radio show online. Amateur radio roundtable, it's our time. Tom, Glenn, Brett, and Mark in view, sharing the waves with me and you. Join the fun, don't miss the flight. At W5KUB.com Tuesday night. See you at 8 p.m. Central, only on W5KUB.com. Tune it in, the static fades MF. Voices rising on the RF waves. Every night it's time to go. Ham fams meeting on the video. Tom W5KUB's in control. Ham pushing the stream with that broadcast soul. From shack to screen, near or far, he's the reason we know who we are. He is the amateur radio roundtable, and live and loud rocking every label. We're on at 8 Central every night, with signals clear and spirits bright. With Tom, Glenn K, W5GP, and Brett WY7BG. And a shout out to Mark P, you know, he brings the heat. Join the crew and tag along at W5KUB.com. Glenn's in deep with the DIY MF. Building radio touch the sky. Schematic dreams and soldered art. He brings that maker's heart. Then Brett's on air, strong and
hello out there to Clifton, and also to KC1YFS. Hello. How you guys doing tonight?
Dial set, coffee in my hand, MC. Signals in the air from across the land. A shack, a screen, and a vibe so right. We're going live again this Tuesday night. It's not just static, it's a call sign wave, where legends hang and the airwaves blaze. Hit the stream, yeah, don't be late. The roundtable's rolling, it's gonna be great. It's the best ham radio show online. Amateur radio roundtable every time. Tom W5KUB keeps the stream alive. With Ham's
Did Hambot leave us?
we're feeling the vibe. With Glenn KW5GP breaking it down. Building gear and wearing that crown. And Brett WY7BG shouting clear. Coming in strong from here, DD. Oh, and Mark P. Yeah, he's part of the light. Tuesday night. It's more than mics and modulation. It's heart and soul in every station. From kits and code to satellites. We learn, we laugh, we share the nights. So grab your rig, grab your crew, and it's always something cool and new. No matter the band, no matter the zone, you'll feel at home when you click that tone. It's the best ham radio show online. Amateur radio on table every time. Tom W5KUB keeps the stream alive. With hams worldwide, we're feeling the vibe. With Glenn KW5GP breaking it down. Building gear and wearing that crown. And Brett WY7BG shouting clear. Coming in strong from in every ear. Oh, and Mark P. Yeah, he's part of the light. So tune in every Tuesday night. Turn it on, let it play. From the heart of the hobby, night or day. Voices rising in the air. We're connected everywhere. It's the best ham radio show online. Amateur radio on table real time. From Tom, Glenn, Brett to Mark P. They're the crew you want on your screen to see. So hit that stream and log in. W5KUB.com Tuesday night. GD spin it out, grab your mic, MC. Another Tuesday, feeling just right. GD from coast to coast, we're tuning in at W5KUB. Let's begin. Whether you're a novice or extra class, there's a place for you. Come join
Hello, Hal. Welcome to Hal VA3HF.
Radio Family.
Glad to see you tonight.
It's the best ham show on earth. Amateur radio roundtable, full of worth. Tune in 8 p.m. Tuesday nights at W5KUB.com. It's out of sight from QRP to he's bringing the light. Come on now, don't miss the view. The Roundtable's waiting for you. When KW5GP breaks it down so clean. MC, networks and tech dream scene. GD and PP, building the future, one note at a time. Explaining it easy like a nursery rhyme. And then Brett WI7BG hits the stream with Hamfest treasures, a picker's dream. Radios, gadgets, vintage and new, showing up the finds that make us drool. It's the best damn show on earth. Amateur radio roundtable, full of worth. Tune in 8 p.m. Tuesday nights at W5KUB.com. It's out of sight from QRP to satellites in flight. Tom's got you covered, he's bringing the light. Come on now, don't miss the view. The Roundtable's waiting for you.
Welcome, WA9 FBC. Glad to have you tonight.
KUB.com every Tuesday. And that's Tom and all of you. We're making ham dreams come true. See you Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Central at W5KUB.com.
I hit the mic boom. Hello, N3 SDO. Glad to have you tonight. WA9 FBC. Glad to have you tonight. Got Hal in there. We've got Bob in there. Boy, got a lot of people in here tonight. KC7 DRI John. Glad to see you again. Hello again to Clifton. KC1YFS. Hello Randy. KN6BZG. Yeah, I hate this every other week deal, but I don't know, man. Not sure how long we'll be able to keep the show going. Maybe the rest of the year. I don't know. This may be the last year we do it. That'll be 12 years. 12 years of weekly, actually. It takes a toll on you, you know. I'm only 39 years old, but you can see what the show has done to me. Gray hair and losing some hair up there. And
cloud. From KW5GP to you and me, 7BG. We're rocking the bands, wild and free. Glenn's got mods on a breadboard bass. Brett's breaking news from a distant place. Tom's at the helm like a seasoned vet, streaming it live on the internet. Swing, the skip is long. We're singing the ham radio song. Spin that dial, let's catch some heat. 40 meters never felt so sweet. Oh, at the amateur radio roundtable with coastlines and power cables. The expeditions, QSLs. We've got more ham than a southern belle. From KW5GP to you and me. signal stable. So key it up and call your name in this wild RF Hall of Fame. From KW5 to you and me, we're Ham and Hard 7-3. Da, 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 da.
Hello, Ed. Ed N3SDO, I think. Ed, if you want to retype your name, you can put a space in there. Do a /Nick, and then a space, and then your call, space, name, however you want to do it. But I can tell you, I can tell who you are, and
RF waves. Every night it's time to go. Ham fams meeting on the video. Tom W5, KUB's in control. Pushing with that broadcast soul. From shack to screen, near or far. He's the reason we know who we are. Signature Radio Roundtable. Living loud, rocking every label. We're on at 8 Central every night. With signals clear and spirits bright.
hello, Den, WA9FBC.
And Brett WI7BG. And a shout out to Mark P. You know he brings the heat. Join the crew and tag along at W5KUB.com. Yeah. Cleansing deep with the DIY. Building radios that touch the sky. Schematic dreams.
All right, our co-host should be with us in just a few minutes. Oh, how many of you know what that is? Probably a lot of you know what that is. That's going to be part of the show tonight. All right, very good. Very good, Ed. Thank you. Hello, Mark, KA9SZX. Mark, glad to see you tonight. Well, not exactly, but I do know exactly what you're talking about. That was to degauss color picture tubes, is what you're talking about, John, but that's not what this is. Give you a little bit better view. Yeah, there you go. Ed got it. All right. Have we got any old timers here tonight? Am I the only old timer on here? Do we have any old timers? I've had my license now for 61 years, something like that. I don't know. 1964, I guess.
Tuesdays here is that time again. MF, fire up the rig, call your friends. Grab your coffee, pull up a chair. MF, we're going live and the gang's all there. Tom W5KUB's in control. Streaming the show with a whole lot of soul. At W5KUB.com we unite. Ham radio magic every Tuesday night. It's the best ham radio show online. Amateur radio roundtable every time. Glenn KW5GP, tech so bright. Brett WI7BG, signals just right. Hey. And Mark P's there in the chat room too. And laugh and learn and sending questions through. Tune in 8 p.m. the moment's right. At
All right. Ed said he's 62. He recognized those crystal holders. Yep. Those are actually crystals. I guess you can say there's a crystal inside, but that is a crystal.
On the ham radio, from soldered rigs to the latest news, solar flares or a vintage tube. Come as you are, everyone's tight. We're family here on a Tuesday night. It's the best ham radio show online. Amateur radio roundtable every time. Glenn KW5GP, tech so bright. Brett WI7BG, signals just right. And Mark P's there in the chat room too. And laugh and learn and sending questions through. Tune in 8 p.m. the moment's right. At W5KUB.com Tuesday night.
Oh, hey, Brett. Didn't see
Hello,
you.
good evening.
Good evening. Where have we been? Where have we been the last few weeks?
Oh, all over the place. Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
You know, there was
I'm
so
going
m-
to try to do something here. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say there's so many things we didn't cover over the last few weeks. I guess we're just going to drop them and forget about them. I don't know. Get new stuff
Well,
every
there's-
week, you know. Have you
Yeah,
got
there's a
anything? You
couple
got anything
news
going this
things.
week you want to talk about?
Well, there's one news thing that might be interesting.
All right.
Has to do with the UHF bands, where the satellite companies are trying to start using them. They're claiming right now they only want to do it in emergencies. We know where that leads.
Yeah. Well. Okay. All right.
Of course, I'm sure you want to talk about your your successful balloon launch today.
We can talk about it. Not sure how successful it is yet. Yeah, I don't call it successful until we get around the world once with it. But we're flying, and of course it went to sleep. Sun went down somewhere east of Atlanta. We'll mention that tonight. We'll mention it. There's, in fact, everybody. You probably remember Huey, Dewey, and Louie. I don't know if you guys remember the story or not. Someone asked one time on one of our flights years ago, how do you steer the balloon? And we told them, well, we've got specially trained ants that they went through a year of training. And we built the story up throughout all the future flights after that. And we had a good time. We gave out certificates to people that actually heard it. And we had Huey, Dewey, and Louie there, the crew, and they got rescued nearly every time they came down.
Wow, that's great. Let's see if I can. I'm gonna make a scene here in the in OBS.
Okay.
That ought to be kind of fun. Let me see if I can do this. Got only a few minutes until we're gonna go on, but I'll try to do it as fast as I can.
Okay.
Here we go. How's that?
All right. There's Huey, Dewey, and Louie back there.
Yep.
Looks like they're having a good time here.
Oh yeah.
Well, we're going to have a big party once they make the first loop around the world. We're going to have a big celebration, big party. I want to say hello.
Great.
Hello, Jim. Hello out there, W8JB. Glad to have you on here. And also KJ5OCP, John, AC8XU. Man, glad you guys made it tonight. We got about 5 minutes. Hambot's going to be giving away a prize tonight. Some lucky viewer tonight is going to win a G5RV antenna.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So, but you got to be in the W5KUB chat room at W5KUB.com. I'm going to tell everybody, we'll give everybody a warning again. Your chances of winning are very, very good because a lot of people aren't in that chat room. They're in X chat or they're in YouTube chat. But if you just go to W5KUB.com and click on chat, you can enter the chat room and your chances are really good, man. Talk a little about that tonight. That's kind of dear to my heart.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. In fact, I may have one of those tomorrow. Yeah.
Yes. What's the coverage on that one? Is it only ham downs or is it?
Oh, that transmitter.
all the way?
That transmitter was 80 through 6. 80 through 6, Crystal and VFO. That was my novice rig, and let's see, there it is right there. 150 watts, and I built that at 16 years old. That was my novice transmitter. And I'm going to come home. I'm going to come home with us tomorrow. I'll tell you where I'm going. I'm going down to Stark Vegas tomorrow. You guys may not know where. You may not know what Stark Vegas is, but we call it Stark Vegas. That's Starkville, Mississippi.
And what's there?
MFJ. I'm going down. I'm going to go down and have lunch with Martin tomorrow, and we're going to do a video. We're going to do a video on all his. He's got a collection. He's got a whole office full of all of these old vintage transmitters, receivers. And of course, Martin's trying to close down. He told me the other day, he was talking to you on the phone, he told me to come down and get what I wanted. Now, I'm not sure what that means, but I'm going to at least try to come home with my novice transmitter, because I bought my novice receiver for $10 last month at Russellville Hamfest. Yeah, Jim, the Wednesday night schedule's tough. I hadn't gotten used to it either.
Yep, but it gives us more time to accumulate things.
The problem is I don't have room back here in my shack, the studio, to place one more piece of equipment. And I don't know what I'm going to do if I bring that thing home. I just don't know what I'm going to do with it. I'd like to set it and receiver up. I mean, very sentimental to me. Oh man, that brings back some memories from 60 years ago. Okay, let's see. K.E. Clifton. Yeah, he has a ton of them. Jim hadn't got used to the Wednesday schedule. Hello, what's that? R4? KJ5 OCP. Welcome. R4. R4. I never knew anybody named that, but okay. So, yeah. By the way,
I can also show specials, things that are being discounted for Hamvention.
Oh yeah. We can do that. And my son sent me a link. I had to find it. There's some online store where there's gobs and gobs of ham equipment for sale. It's silent key stuff. I believe it's estate and silent key stuff. Well, R4 KG5 OCP. I'll be down in Mississippi tomorrow. We'll be down in Stark Vegas and having lunch with Martin. I try to get down and see him occasionally, and we talk on the phone once or twice a week. But hey, it's 8 o'clock. I guess we need to get started here, man.
Yeah.
We're going to give away a prize tonight. Again, the prize tonight is going to be the G5RV antenna. The handy talkies. Handy talkies are out of stock right now, so we're going to be giving out some Explorer backpacks and also the G5RV antennas. So stand by. Here we go. Let's see if we can get this show on the road. Well, let's see. All I can do is figure out where all this stuff's coming from. I'm looking for number 42. 42, no? 39. 34, 37, 39. There it is. All right, I finally found it. Okay.
It's the best ham radio show online. Amateur radio roundtable every time. Tom W5KUB keeps the stream alive. With hams worldwide, we're elation. It's heart and soul in every station. From kits and code to satellites, we learn, we laugh, we share the nights. So grab your rig, grab your crew, it's always something cool and new.
All right, welcome to Amateur Radio Roundtable. This is a show about ham radio, amateur radio, shortwave, electronics, you name it, we can do it here. It looks like we got some new people starting to join in the chat room there. We need to start advertising the show a little bit more. A lot of people don't know about it. Plus, we've changed our schedule to every other, well, I won't say every other week, but on the 2nd and the 4th of every Wednesday night is when our show is now. Our show has been on 11 years weekly, and we're trying to cut back just a little bit, so we're going approximately every couple weeks. But we're going to be on the 2nd and the 4th of every Wednesday. We're going to be giving away a prize every show, whether it be a Explorer backpack, it might be a handy talkie, it could be an antenna, HF antenna. Don't know yet what we're going to give away. Tonight we are going to give away the G5RV tonight. So you guys stay tuned, and just let me warn you again, if you want to win that, you got to be in the W5KUB.com chat room, and all you got to do is just go to W5KUB.com and click on a little yellow button where it says chat room and put your call in there, and you'll be in it. Hambot is our person that picks and awards the prizes. And Hambot only can look in that chat room, so that's why you need to be in that chat room. There are people in the YouTube chat room. There are people in the X chat room. Hey, if you want to win a prize, you got to come over and get in that chat room. I'm sorry, I wish we could do something different, but they're just incompatible. They won't work here. So hey, we got a lot of things to talk about tonight. But first of all, if you will, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the thumbs up button. I guess that's the like button, and thumbs up. That helps us greatly to advertise our show to other people. It doesn't cost you anything to do that, so please do that. Join our Facebook group. Our Facebook group is called W5KUB, and we have just under 15,000 hams in that Facebook group. So we'd like to have you join us there, if you will. We're on every podcast carrier out there if you want to listen to just audio, from iHeart to Google Play to iNet Radio, all those out there, we're on them. So where am I going with this? If you can, hit the like, hit the subscribe. We really would appreciate it there. And we've got some things coming up. We just launched another a Pico balloon. This is not a weather balloon. You know, people confuse it with weather balloons. It's not a weather balloon. It's a Pico balloon, highly engineered to float at a specific altitude and not bust, and to stay alive for a long time. Our last good flight we had went 454 days and went around the Earth 25 times. We launched again today. We're somewhere east of Atlanta right now, probably getting very close to the East Coast. We'll talk a little about that and how you can track it a little later. We got Hamvention coming up. We're going to mention and talk a little about that. And I'm going to be going down to MFJ tomorrow and meeting my friend Martin. We talk every week on the phone, and I'm going down tomorrow and buy him some dinner. I think he's bought me dinner all the time. And we're going to do a video there in his office, and I've got set up wireless mics and stuff where we can get good audio. And we're going to talk about, if you ever been in Martin's office or seen one of our old videos, Martin has gobs and gobs and gobs of vintage equipment. His office, his bookshelves are lined with vintage equipment, and even adjacent rooms are lined with vintage equipment. And you know, Martin's closing down. And he's not going to be able to keep all that stuff. My plan tomorrow is to come back with my novice transmitter. I think I can pull that off tomorrow. But Martin told me, I don't know what he meant, but Martin said, just come on down and get what you want. Now, I don't know what that means. I don't know if that means I need to bring my truck down or just my car. I don't know, but I'm not going to be stingy. I just want one thing, my novice transmitter. Let's see what else. But here's what we're going to do. Martin made a suggestion. He said, we'll take the video. I'll show it on the show here, and everybody will see all the vintage equipment. And he says, if you're interested or want it, make him an offer, and you may be the new owner. And Martin says, I want somebody to have it with a good home. He said, I don't want somebody, just because it's free, I don't want somebody coming down and getting it and then trashing it. And he said, if they'd be willing to, pay something for it, it means more to them, I agree with him here. But anyway, all that's going on in the next day or two, and I've got several other things to talk about tonight. Let's go over and check with Brett and see how Brett's been doing and what he's got going here. Brett, come on in here. And you're muted. You're muted.
It muted me. Okay, there I am. Okay. Hello, Tom. Hello, everyone from Laramie, Wyoming. The weather here is beautiful, and it's going to be very hot the next couple of days. That hot weather is going to head eastward, and it's going to hit Hamvention right on Saturday during the biggest day of the convention. So that's going to be interesting. I'm definitely going to be out there with lots of sunscreen. And yes, I'm going to be going to Hamvention this year. I'm going to spend a lot of time at the fairgrounds, at the Hope Hotel, where they're having their pizza parties and other events, and probably sometimes with the people who are doing the 5-day, the QRP group, which is doing the 4 days in May event. Do all sorts of contests and interesting kit builds and interesting talks, and I'm going to be spending some time with them as well. I'm also going to be looking for deals, and there's a number of the usual suspects are having big discounts on various kinds of radio gear for the convention. This should be a lot of fun. Also on tap, there is some new announcements from the FCC, which could affect the ham bands, and I want to talk about that a little sometime this evening.
Okay, we'll surely do that. I'd love to hear what's new with the FCC. Okay, anything else?
That's mostly it. I'm mostly getting ready, packing up, trying to get arranged for everything to be taken care of in my absence while I play hooky and have fun at the convention. All
right. Well, great. All right. Well, I got a couple segments here. We'll pick one of them up, and then we'll talk about your FCC and that afterward after the first segment here. We'll talk about we'll talk about this one in a few minutes. Can anybody in the chat room name these amps? I want to see if anybody in the chat room can name who they are. They have names. Put it in the chat room. I have trouble spelling one of them's name. I always spell it wrong. I guess you could spell it different ways, but anybody know who these amps are? They're on a. There we go. John got it. Huey, Dewey, and Louie.
Oh, that's right. I thought they were Mo, Larry, and Curly.
No, that's Huey, Dewey, and Louie. Now, we do have another crew, Daryl and his other brother, Daryl. It's a two-man crew. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, we'll talk about that in a minute. But I'm not going to get on that subject yet. We'll do this one after you do your FCC deal. And we've got again, we're going to give away a G5RV antenna tonight to some lucky viewer. You're going to have to be in the W5KUB.com chat room. You can read the ticker down at the bottom. All you got to do is get in there. Your chances of winning are really good. A lot of people are in the YouTube and also in the X chat room, but you got to be in the W5KUB chat room. Okay, enough said about that. All right, so I want to talk about, I mentioned going down and seeing Martin. So just wanted to talk about a few things here. So let me just scroll down and see if I could figure this out here. There's my novice receiver, guys. I was a novice 61 years ago. Yeah, 61 years ago, and that was my receiver. And back then, that was a great receiver. If you notice, it's ham band only. You can see the top band, 3.5 to 4. Ham band only, but look, it had 6 meters on it at the bottom, 50 to 54. That was a great receiver back then. And that's when I first got my novice license, 1964. I don't know what happened to that radio. Somehow it got traded off, or I got rid of it over the years. But it has sentimental value to me. And I found this radio at the Russellville Hamfest, this SX-140, Hallicrafters SX-140. I found it at the Russellville Hamfest last month for $10, $10. So I jumped on it. It had some issues. I had to put some capacitors in it. I had to put a new dial string on it. If you guys are too new or young and you don't know what a dial string is, that's what, when you turn that knob, that's what makes that little slider, that little red pointer, go back and forth across there. That's how it was back then. We were all mechanical, man. No electrical stuff. And, the switches were a little noisy. I sprayed some contact cleaner in there. Got it going. It's working pretty good. So that was my receiver right there. I've got it right now. I love it. I feel funny when I look at it. It brings back memories 60 years ago. Anyway, I don't know what happened to my transmitter. Don't know. And my transmitter was a kit. It was a Allied night kit. It was a T150, 150 watt CW AM transmitter. The interesting thing about this, and I didn't plan it this way, it just happened. It also had 6 meters on it. It was 80 through 6 meters. It had a VFO on the right side there. You can see the dial, the VFO. I'm sure it drifted, but back then everything did. And I built it as a kit, 16 years old, and even though it was 150 watt, back then I think it was different times. Hams back then had different opinions or feelings about rules, regulations, procedure. We were very strict on ourselves to make sure that we followed the rules, all self-policing. And even though that ran 150 watts, my novice power limit was 75 watts. So when I tuned up, I had to keep the drive down to 75 watts. And I remember very clearly, even today, sitting at the sucker on 75 watts, and that's how we ran. And we were crystal control then. I couldn't use the VFO as a novice. Let's see right here. Crystal control. This is how we set our frequencies right here with crystals. And I don't know. As a novice, a young ham, you probably had 3 of these. We had 3. Basically, we had 3 bands. We had 80, 40, and 15 CW. And this is the crystal. This plugged into the 2 holes there. If you look right there on the very right side, you see those 2 little holes there above the funnel jack, or whatever you call that, and this thing would plug. This would plug in, and that's how we set our frequency. This particular crystal here, 3710. Now we only had like 50 kilohertz of bandwidth as a novice, like on 80, and I think 40 maybe. I'd say on 40 we had 500. Let's see, we had 7150 to 7200. Yeah, we had 50. But this is how we set our frequency. And the thing is, not anybody had the same crystal as you. Everybody had different crystals. So you would get on there and you'd call CQ, or you would hear a CQ, and you'd get your crystal that's closest to that frequency and plug it in, and you'd call the guy back. And you'd call him 3 or 4 or 5 times. And what we would do, we would tune around till we made contact. So we were basically working like full duplex almost. We were on different frequencies because we didn't have the same crystals. But that's how it was
you were
back.
working split.
What was that?
You were working split.
Yeah, we were working split. That's exactly right. We were working split back then. And that's just the way it was. That was life back then. So back to the transmitter. Let's see, I got it right here. So that was it right there, 150 watts, AM and CW. Now, when I was a tech, you probably heard the story. Back then, you could hold when I was a novice. Back then, you could hold your novice license and tech license at the same time. So I was WA5 KUB in the novice bands, and I had my tech license, and I was WN5. N back then meant novice. I noticed nowadays, I've seen some calls with WN in them, and they're generals. But back then, N designated that you were a novice, 5 words per minute, and working to increase it. So I was WN5 KUB on CW as a novice, and I could operate 6-meter voice as WA5 KUB. So it was great that this thing would work 6 meters. It was screen modulated, nothing real powerful. Screen modulation is kind of weak, but it worked. That's what a lot of people used back then. But I had a big plate modulator that was given to me with another radio. It was a homebrew plate modulator, and it had an octal 8-pin plug on it. And this T150, it had a 8-pin octal you can unplug out of the back and plug in this plate modulator. Basically, your plate modulator is just audio modulation, and it goes into the power supply stream, kind of, to the finals, and modulates the plates of the finals. And that really put a pack to your signal, plate modulation. And
that must have been high voltage.
Yeah. And I didn't know what I was doing back then, but I made all that work, man. So this was a kit. And, not like a kit where you build it with a circuit board and you stick the parts in. I built the HW100, the heat kit, in the early 70s. But this was back before that came out. And this is point-to-point wiring. And, all the components were mounted on terminal strips or tube sockets, things like that. So you can see it looks like a little bit of a mess there, but hey, when you wire like that, it becomes a mess. It's not real laid out like a circuit board would have to be laid out. So you can see quite a few parts in it here. Here's a picture from the top side. It had 2 6146s in it. Those were great tubes back then. There are still rigs, I guess, today, or at least, well, when I say today, I don't know if they're still running 6146s. Most everything is solid state nowadays. But back as early as if you had something like a Kenwood TS820 or 820 or something like that, or 520, they ran a pair of 6146s in it. So you can see this had a self-contained power supply. You see the power transformer there. It had 2 6146s. That tube up at the very top left, I think, is an OA2, which would be a voltage regulator. And that's because up at the top right is your VFO. It's going to be up there. You're not actually can't see it here. So we had one tube there. I guess it was the oscillator, and one tube was probably a buffer, and then it went into the final outputs, the 6146s. And here we can see on the very bottom right, that's the VFO. So you had the VFO, and then right in the center you see two capacitors there. That's your tank circuit. And back then we had a pi tank circuit, and the pi network would tune just about anything. We didn't worry about, cutting an antenna perfect or anything like that. Between turning the load capacitor and dipping the final on the capacitor there, you could just about load up into any piece of wire, a long wire, vertical piece of wire, dipole, or anything like that. So that was pretty neat back in the olden days, So anyway, that is kind of some nostalgia that I've got running through me right now. And like I say, I'm going down to see Martin to do a segment. We're gonna talk about some old times. We're gonna talk about when he was a novice, when he grew up. We'll talk about MFJ, I'm sure. And he basically is an expert on everything ham related out there. He's got so many different pieces of vintage equipment there. And again, he has my Knight T150 there. And heck, I'll bring a thing back. We'll tune it up. I'll show you how to tune it up with a light bulb. That's what we'll do. So anyway, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. What do you think, Brett? Come on in, Brett. Where'd you go, Brett?
There we are. Okay, yes, I'm here. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
All right.
Yeah. And
well, let's talk.
I'm nostalgic for my old equipment too.
Yeah. I don't know where it went. That was so long ago. I have no idea where it went. Man. Martin said, I said, Martin, what are you doing with all this equipment? And he just kept buying it. He said, when I was young, I didn't have the money. I didn't have any money to buy anything, And he had just very basic stuff he could scrounge or trade for or whatever. And in his older years, he could buy the stuff. But look at him now. Need to get rid of it. Can't keep it. But anyway, let's talk about the FCC.
Okay, well, here's some information from the FCC. Actually, this is from the ARRL website, and it's an announcement from a couple of weeks ago, but it's still important. The Federal Communications Commission just authorized the use of the ham bands for non-ham activities. In particular, they granted what they called limited emergency use of the UHF hand band by satellites. And they claim they're only going to use this in emergencies for telemetry, tracking, and control operations. Now, we know how this goes. A corporation will ask for permission to use something only in emergencies, and then we'll start using it more and more and claim that those other uses are essential as well. The center frequencies range from 430.5 at the low end to 439.5 megahertz at the high end. And, a number of groups, not just the ARRL, expressed concerns about this, but the FCC still authorized it, and so we're now going to have to watch for interference from the satellite companies. And if it's not an emergency, we'll have to complain bitterly to make sure that we keep our spectrum.
Wow. Well, they're always looking for spectrum. Everybody is. As hams, we have quite a bit of spectrum, to tell you the truth. We have megahertz of spectrum, a lot more than a lot of companies get. We got 4 megahertz. Let me be an old timer. We got 4 megacycles. We got 4 megacycles on 6 meters. Gee.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, a cell phone, in order to work real well and be able to do data, needs at least a 5 megahertz channel. You really can't go narrower than that. But the it's all been fragmented, so that the cell phone companies have a little bit of one 5 megahertz slice here and another one there and another one there, and they try to combine them all. It's the spectrum is kind of a mess because of the way it's been allocated over time, and everybody's gunning for a piece that's relatively clean. Unfortunately, the amateur radio bands fall into that category. There's a lot of contiguous space. So yes, there are a lot of companies that covet our spectrum, and we need to be vigilant about that.
Well, they'll eventually get some of the bandwidth or find it somewhere.
Hmm. They will, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, you
Of
being an ISP, you ought to try to get you some new bandwidth, man. Why don't you go and
Well,
see
it's
if you
it's
can't get some?
interesting. The FCC just announced this month that they were giving all sorts of spectrum to the satellite companies. The idea that maybe they would compete with one another, but they really haven't given any to wireless ISPs. There's one little band called CBRS, Citizens Broadband Radio Service, which is you have to you either have to share with everybody in an uncontrolled way, or you have to purchase an expensive license in order to use that. But for the most part, wireless ISPs like me use Part 15 spectrum. That's unlicensed spectrum where the FCC licenses the equipment but doesn't license the spectrum at all. And that's the Wild West. There are all sorts of things out there. There are things that don't even conform to the rules that they're not really policing, such as Meshtastic. As I mentioned on the show a few weeks ago, Meshtastic violates the FCC rules for the 900 megahertz band, but they consider it to be junk spectrum, and they're not really doing anything about that.
Oh
So,
man, you brought up you brought up Meshtastic. I took my 2 units and I threw them in a box and threw them in a closet.
yeah, I wonder what it would do on a balloon.
I thought about that, but I mean, it'd need to be something like a weather balloon or something. I don't. I could haul the board. The antenna would be the issue. I'd have to use the little quarter wave antenna, because if you put one of those rubber ducky 6-inch antennas or something on there, that'd weigh more than the whole tracker would, And I don't know. It might be an issue because we'd be on the U.S. bands transmitting over Europe. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Well, there are some countries that use 900 megahertz unlicensed and some that don't. So
Yeah,
you might need
but
to
I don't think the ants have learned to steer that good yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, you've said before that you somehow managed to geofence North Korea. How do you do that?
Well, yeah. We've in fact we've our trackers have geofenced North Korea, Yemen, and used to be the UK. And it's real easy. It's just you got a GPS in there, so it knows where it is, and in the software you just draw a box around that country, and you say, if I go inside that box, don't let the transmitter come on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it might be possible to do 900 megahertz geofencing too. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure you could. Yeah, I don't even know if that. I don't even know if that thing could be received that far away. Well, I guess it could, because you're going to be at 40,000, 50,000 feet, and that's
10 miles.
Yeah, 8 to 10 miles, something like that. So, line of sight, you probably it probably could work. Again, it'd be nice to have a gain antenna of some type, but I couldn't fly a gain antenna on it.
Yeah, I don't know. The only gain antenna that the balloon would lift would be like a little collinear.
So I'm using on these trackers for my GPS antenna, and you got to have a GPS antenna. They don't work without it. So what I'm using is a 2.4 centimeter piece, a number 36 wire. It's about the size of your hair, 2.4 centimeters long as a vertical, soldered to the board, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. And
what about
today we're picking up, I think today we were seeing, like all the time, we were seeing, I think 10, 11 satellites all the time.
Mm-hmm. And you said you were using a trap vertical for HF?
Yeah, we're using a trap 10 meter vertical dipole.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's say you're going to be at Dayton. Let's jump back on that for a second. You're going to be up there, and I know some of the people in the chat room are going to be there. Maybe you'll run into them.
Yeah, I expect that Bill's going to launch another balloon, probably from the middle of the commons at lunchtime.
Yeah, I've launched several with him there, and a couple of times when he couldn't make it, but it always was clouds. They were skimming the top of the building, man, when we launched. And I think last time I launched one, it took off, but it landed at the hot dog stand outside. I guess they were hungry. And then it took off again. So anyway, I tell you, it's going to be interesting. We're not doing any webcasts for Hamvention this year. You know, we went to Hamvention 40 straight years, and I saw everything up there pretty much there is to see. I like looking at the old stuff. I don't like looking at the new stuff. And what I found was all the old stuff, you see it, and the next year it's on a different table. And then the next year it's on a different table. So you never know where you're going to find it. It's out there somewhere. But we webcasted, Hamvention and things like Huntsville and other Hamfest for about 20 years, and we gave away a lot of prizes. Most Hamfest we would give away somewhere between $2,000 and $3,000 in prizes using Hambot. But we're not doing that anymore. I'm starting to go to the smaller Hamfest. I want to look around, and when we were streaming, it was all work. Constantly, people were coming up wanting to talk to you. I didn't get to look around. I didn't get to find my novice receiver for $10. I didn't get to do anything. So I enjoy it now to have some time to walk around. Used to at Dayton. Here's how my Dayton would go. We would webcast the entire day. I'd be completely tied up every single minute, and then 10 minutes before Dayton Hamvention would close, I would run inside and I would buy $3 worth of heat shrink. That was my typical visit for Dayton, So anyway, now you can buy that on eBay, Gee, you can buy anything on eBay now. Anyway.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, it'd be nice if it was a little closer, and I may consider coming back up there maybe in a year or two. But I tell you, we've had some fun times up there at Dayton while we're on the subject of Dayton. We call it Dayton. It's now at Xenia. But usually it's going to always rain at least one day. I bet you in 40 years we went, we only had one, maybe two times that it did not rain at all. But it's going to always rain at least one day. And you bet. And it used to be in April instead of May, and it was a lot colder then. They moved it to May, I think, to try to get better weather. And you had to take all kinds of clothes with you, because in the weekend you would freeze to death, you would get flooded, you need boots, you get flooded, you would need shorts because it'd get hot and you'd freeze to death. You need rain gear you need winter gear, all in the same weekend. All in the same weekend. But that was the fun part. That was the fun part. And usually the winds would pick up, and our tent always, our structure always stayed down. We did really good. But other people around us, they would lose their tarps and tents. The wind would lift them up, and it would take it over 2 rows and drop it somewhere. And oh man, we've had a lot of fun up here. The outhouse, the outhouse turned over by the hot dog stand one year, and then another year the sewer blew up right in the middle of the flea market. That made a lot of people mad. But it was fun, we had a lot of fun. I will go back maybe in a year or so. Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, I have the weather forecast available for Xenia if folks are interested.
Yeah. Let's hear it now. How many days out? How many days out are we?
Well, let's see here. We're now. This starts on Thursday.
This coming Thursday, right?
Yep.
Oh,
and
wow.
on Thursday, we have. Let's see if I can do here. Okay, on Thursday it's going to be 64 degrees and it says sunny periods. So I wonder what it's going to be the rest of the time. You can expect maybe a lot of a shower.
Sunny periods. Okay.
Oh, and then on Friday.
Oh, look at that, Friday.
High of 68 degrees, low of 55, and sunny periods with a shower in the area in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So that may be when the tents get blown around in the flea market.
Although the wind speed is it's less there than it was the day before.
Yes, it's 8 miles an hour. I don't know if there'll be gusts if there's a shower, but there'll be some rain, all right. And then Saturday, also more rain, broken intervals with a thundery shower.
Whoa, what's the percentage for rain? Does it give a percentage?
Okay, this is AccuWeather.com, and it doesn't give a percentage.
Okay, all right.
So I can't tell you exactly.
I'll make a prediction that your percentage is going to be 183% on Saturday.
Yeah. And then on Sunday, which is the free day, it's supposed to be a high of 85 degrees, partially sunny with a stray thunderstorm.
Oh, boy.
So, again, every day there's a good chance of rain.
And, you're getting closer. We used to always watch the weather 3 weeks out, 4 weeks out, and trying to guess what it was going to be. You can never guess it. I mean, right now we're 2 or 3 days out right now, and you still can't guess it. Really, it's going to surprise you. It was first year out at Xenia at the fairgrounds. No, not fairgrounds. Fairgrounds, is that what it's called? Yeah, fairgrounds.
Yeah, the Xenia site is the Green County.
I remember
Fairground.
Glenn was out there. Oh man, Glenn bogged down past his knees in mud, and when it was over, everybody's trying to get their car out of there, and everybody's kind of moving, and Glenn was in his car, and there was a woman in front of him, and they were getting enough traction with the wheels that they were moving. They were moving. Don't slow down. Don't slow down. And a lady in front of him stopped, and they all got stuck. And I don't know. I think I've seen up there where they used to park out on the grass, particularly at Hare Arena, where wreckers would come out there. And I don't know what a wrecker probably cost. They may have been pulling people out for $50 or $100, but I'll bet you they pulled hundreds of cars out there. Yeah, thanks, Clifton. Greene County Fairgrounds. That's what it is here. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So anyway, oh man, it was. I like the old place. I like Hera better. I don't know. It was just nostalgia again. I liked it better. Went to Hera for probably 35 years before we moved to Xenia, and the building was really getting in bad shape. Some of the vendors would actually put tents up inside the building to keep water from getting on their equipment. So,
and this was before the tornado.
I don't know. I don't know. Well, there was a tornado here, I think, just a year or two ago there. They hit Beaver Creek, I think.
Yeah. As I understand it, after Hamvention left the Hara Arena, it was essentially destroyed by a tornado.
Oh yeah, that's true. The tornado, it did a job on the building here for sure. Yeah. Oh man. Well, hey, we used to get 8 or 10 guys here. I don't want to bore everybody with the story again, but we'd convoy up there. They changed the rules many times. A lot of times they'd only let you in at midnight, in the gate at midnight to set up. And they would direct you through the gate, and you would just get whatever parking lot they put you at, parking space. They did that for several years. And then they assigned spaces, and you could request the same space. And then I think they cut that out. I can remember going out there at midnight to set up. And lightning, it started raining, and lightning hitting the pavement out there, man, and everybody's running around out there. Oh, man, we had some good times. Good times. The Royal Motel is not there anymore. If we got some old-timers on here, they probably know what we're talking about. The Royal Motel, it was at Kiwi Street, if I remember correctly. And it was a motel where I think it was like $30 a night, and we'd put 10 people in the room, $3 a night. That's not bad, man. But it was a pretty rough place. We had people come in our room one night. They had a gun. I didn't know they had a gun. The guy kept saying, "What are you doing in my room?" And I said, "What are you doing in my room?" I showed him my key, and he showed me his key, and he called the manager on the phone. The manager told him, "You got to leave. That's their room." But the manager got him another room, and his name was Fast Eddie. I'll never forget Fast Eddie. And he stayed inside our room until they got him a room ready. He had a woman with him, and he would look out. He would peep through the curtain, and he said, "There's cops and another type person. Cops and somebody everywhere. There's cops in everywhere." So he wouldn't even go outside. But we got to know him while he was in our room. He said, "Man, I'm sorry. This is our room when I come to town." And he said, "Can I do anything for you?" He said, "They're getting us another room." He said, "Would you like to come down and bust our room up or whatever you'd like to do?" And Fast Eddie drove a great big Eldorado Cadillac, and it had great big Longhorn horns on the hood, and around the license plate it had Phillips Petroleum or something like that. He was in the oil business, Anyway, that was Fast Eddie. Never forget Fast Eddie, man. Okay, well, that's enough of that one. Let's everybody stand by a second, and we'll be right back. Stick around, any ham radio conversation, and Icom is bound to come up. The reason's pretty straightforward. Solid state receivers, clear audio, and a layout that feels natural the second that you start operating. These radios are made for real on-the-air time, whether the bands are calm, crowded, or somewhat in between. The new IC7300 Mark II builds upon everything operators loved about the original IC7300, elevating it to a sharper, cleaner, and more capable HF experience. Its improved RMDR, lower phase noise, enhanced cooling, and expanded I/O options make it a next-level performer for serious operators who want crystal clear reception, rock-solid transmit quality, and a modern convenience. Built for satellite, EME, and weak signal enthusiasts, the IC9700 continues an all-mode operation on VHF, UHF, and 1.2 gigs with SDR precision. Its real-time dual-band scope, full duplex capability, and high-power output make it the ultimate transceiver for operators pushing the limits above 50 megahertz. For more information about Icom's amateur radios, please visit icomamerica.com/amateur. All right, and just remember, Icom is going to be at Hamvention again. They're there every year. I know Ray Novak will be there, and a lot of guys that you might know. So stop in and see them in their booth, and they're going to be. I suppose they're right where they always are. There, I think that's Building 2. We were in there with them several years, but I think they're going to maybe have some new announcements this year. They always try to have something, so stop by and look at the radios. And hey, I saw a new Icom the other day, new Icom radio the other day. I don't know if it's a brand new or not, but it's $9,500. You know what I'm talking about, Brett?
Yeah, I've heard that they have a new high-end rig, and I haven't seen it yet. I did see Ray Novak's post to social media in which he showed a really huge van that they were unloading into the building there. So they brought a lot of gear. This is going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Well, yeah. I don't know. If I was going this year, I might pick that $9,500 radio up. I don't know, man. Plus, you know what? The detachable front module, I guess you can use it detached, or maybe, you know, like the Flex Maestro or whatever. Anyway, that detachable front panel is another $2,500. Now, I guess you get, I don't know if the radio comes with one or not, but that might be something to look into, you know. Heck.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so go by and see Ray, and be sure and tell him that we talked about him and Icom on Amateur Radio Roundtable this Wednesday. So be sure and tell Ray that. All right, so hey guys, we're going to be giving away a prize in just a few minutes. Hambot is here. And Hambot is going to pick a name. All right, so you don't mess with Hambot. Now, the reason we got Hambot built, and he was developed over about an 8-year period. He does the work of about 3 or 4 people, and I'm glad he's with us. But Hambot is going to pick a name, a random name, out of the W5KUB.com chat room, and he's going to give a countdown, and he's going to announce the prize, and he's going to give a countdown, 60 seconds. And you need to say, I'm here, or hit a period, or say hello. Just let us know, let him know you're here. And even if I don't see it, Hambot knows if you were able to hit a period or an enter or something. I don't care if 1 million people are talking. If you were in there, Hambot's going to see you. So you got to be in that chat room if you want to win a prize. Now, tonight, we've got a nice prize that we're going to give out tonight. From Gigaparts. It's going to be the G5, it's the Intellitron G5RV Junior Dipole antenna. So this will be a cool antenna, HF antenna for you if you wanted to go POTA or just put it up and use it, whatever you want to do with it. It's still a nice antenna. You got to be in the W5KUB chat room. It don't take any effort to get in there. I know right now you're in the YouTube chat room, you're in Facebook, you're in X chat room. Hambot is going to pick a name from the chat room at W5KUB.com. Go there, hit that yellow button that says video and chat, and over on the right side, just enter your call letters or your name and hit enter or join, whatever the button says, and you'll be in the chat room. All right. So we're going to give you about 2 or 3 minutes to get in that chat room because I want everybody to be eligible here and happy to win a prize. All right, so trying to think. Coming up next, we're going to be talking about our balloon launch today in Huey, Dewey, and Louie. And I'm going to give you the quick story on Huey, Dewey, and Louie. And how great they are, and we will we'll probably talk a little about some of their rescues. You know, when they did come down, they don't make it around every time. But so far, they have been saved every time and rescued every time, and we have pictures to prove it. Yeah. All right. Let me see if Hambot is ready here to go. Let me see. I want to say hello to WA9FBC and WM9K. Anybody else? Let's see. Came in later. Let's see. Okay. All right, here we go. Let's see what we got here.
Yep.
Hambot, you better work this time. You let me down last time.
Oh.
You let me down last time.
So is this antenna a 50-foot G5RB or a 100-foot G5RB?
Well, it's a 40 meter, 40 through 10, I think. You know, so I imagine it's probably a 50-footer.
Yep.
I'm guessing.
It's an OCF dipole off center fed.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's a G5RV is an off center fed dipole.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I thought G5RV was just a doublet.
Well, no, it's got two legs that are different lengths.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know that. I thought they were just doublet. Well, okay, cool. Okay.
Yeah, and it's a good compromise for all the different bands.
Yeah. All right. Hambot is trying to come up here. Hambot's going to come up. Come on, Hambot. Don't let us down. There's Hambot. Hambot is up. All right. Let's just see what we can do here. I guess everybody's ready. Everybody just stand by. We're fixing to do it here. Let me see if I can remember how to work this thing. I got to go to control panel. I've got to connect him. I got to get Hambot connected.
I'm watching the chat. Hopefully he'll join.
Yeah. Come on, Hambot. I wonder why it says not responding up there. They always say that, right? He'll respond here in a minute. Folks, I guarantee you we will make him work tonight. All right. Did Hambot come up?
Nothing has
Not
said
yet? Okay.
he joined.
All right.
Oh,
All right.
Wait a minute. It says he did and then quit immediately.
Yeah. All right. Keep watching. Come on, Hambot. He's getting a little rusty. He used to really get a workout, at these Hamfest. We're trying to use him for every show now, and I'm not a very good partner, I guess, with him right here.
It's like the Wizard of Oz. Oral can.
I think he's on, isn't he?
He just joined.
Okay. All right. So Hambot's here. All right. Everybody just stand by. Let's see what... Now, okay. So Hambot's going to pick a name. He's going to give a countdown. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. You won or you didn't win. If you didn't win, he's going to pick another name. All you got to do is just enter something. Enter a letter. Enter a period. Do something. Hello, I won. Hit the enter. That. Okay, let's just see what we got going here. All right. All right, Hambot, try to pick somebody here. Oh, wait a minute. I got to pick a prize first. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Guess what he's doing? We will make this work tonight because I will go get Miss Hambot, and we will make this work tonight. Oh, wait a minute. I've got to add the prize in here. That's what I got to do. Okay, hang on. I got to enter the prize. Everybody stand by. I had it entered, but I don't know. He lost it.
Yes, the chat channel actually kicked me off, and I came back with an underscore after my name.
Yeah.
So it's probably an IRC thing.
Okay, let's see. This is going to be the Intellitron. The Intellitron WA1040. G5RV Junior dipole antenna. Just got to make sure he gets the prize. Looks like he had given away all the other prizes. I think this is going to work. Let's see. Copy that, and I'm going to put it right here. Okay. All right. We're going to give it a try, guys. Okay, everybody get ready. Get ready now. Hambot, are you ready, Hambot, to give a prize away, Hambot? Okay. All right, everybody. Hey, I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to make it work tonight. Brett, you take over for a minute. I'm gonna get this thing going, and I'll be back. But just
okay.
Keep
well,
it,
let's see.
keep
What
it
do
running.
I? What
Keep
do
it
I
running. We'll be back.
about?
I'll be back in a minute. We're going to do this.
Okay, let's do this. Okay. Well, let's see. Let's talk about bargains. Let's talk about what's going on with the various ham radio vendors. Here's a. I'm doing a screen share here. DX Engineering is one of the vendors that's got a lot of interesting stuff on sale specifically for Dayton Hamvention, but you don't need to be at Dayton Hamvention to take advantage of the prices. They have the IC705 for $100 off their usual price, so it's $1,400 instead of $1,500. Rig Expert Antenna Analyzer, and that's let's see, it's about a $30 discount there.
It's okay.
TH D75A, which is a tri-band HT, looks like that's about $50 off. That's it. More antennalizers. This one's a Rig Expert. I'm glad to see that they're still producing despite the problems that they've had being in Ukraine. Looks like DX Engineering is discounting that by $100. Yaesu FTX1 series, which is a cool, also an HF and 50 megahertz and 144 and 430. So VHF and UHF, but not 220. And that one's about $200 off of the usual price. And let's see what else they have that's especially interesting. More antenna analyzer stuff. Let's see. Here's a power supply and a Linko power supply that's discounted a little. So, and going down here, I'm looking for things like utility HF rigs. Here's one. IC7100 off by discounted by more than $200. That's a pretty good deal. So anyway, that's what DX Engineering has. HRO, Ham Radio Outlet, has a whole bunch of stuff discounted also for Hamvention. They're also discounting the IC705. They're matching DX Engineering on that. And then the FTX1 Optima. This is actually a really good price. They're asking $1,700 for that. That's a very good price. The IC2730A, which is just a really good dual band UHF VHF rig, they're about $100 off on that. A lot of just generally good stuff here. A lot of very popular radios are being discounted. Let's see. The FC
Hambot.
Okay.
Hambot is
yeah.
working.
Okay. The other one I see here, which is a very good deal, is the FT710 Field. That's that is the field version of it, which doesn't have the amplifier. It's 100 watts. and that's on sale for $900, which is quite a good deal. In any case, let's get back to Hambot, I guess. But anyway, browse these sites. It looks like there's actually quite a lot. Even if you're not at Hamvention, there's quite a lot quite a lot of discounts that you can take advantage of remotely.
Okay, so Hambot's working. Just a minor technicality. We had to put a little oil on his left kneecap. All right, so let's see if it works. Okay, everybody get ready. Hambot's he's fixing to do it to it. If he calls your name, claim the prize. This is for the G5RV Junior Dipole. Hey, and while I'm mentioning it, while I'm out here, guys, if you buy anything from Gigaparts, use the promo code W5KUB, and you'll get 2 times all your points on all your purchases. Promo code W5KUB. All right. Hambot better not let me down.
Ah, he's there.
Is he there? Did we get a winner?
Yep, we got a winner. It's Ronnie.
Okay,
KF4WZR.
He definitely got it here. So, all right, congratulations to Ronnie. Was that who is it? It's
Yes.
Ronnie. That's Ronnie. All right, let me write this down. Ronnie. And what's Ronnie's call?
Let's see. KF4WZR.
WZR. Okay. 5 and 13. All right, Ronnie, you won. And we didn't even get to pick, Hambot didn't even get to pick another name. Ronnie, you won the KF4WZR. You won the antenna from Gigaparts. They'll get that out to you here soon. We'll notify them, and I'll copy you on the letter, the email to them where you won this, and they'll get it out to you here pretty soon. We had a few people that won some handy talkies the last few weeks. The handy talkies are out of stock. I think they offered people the choice of things like the Explorer backpack or the antenna, or just to wait for the handy talkie. And so I think everybody's been handled. If in the past, if you won something and you haven't heard anything, let me know and I'll follow it for you. But congratulations, Ronnie, KF4WZR. All right, very good. Well, we got Hambot finally worked. Maybe next time he'll work. I'm going to try to get him oiled up really good before next week or next show. All right. Okay. Let's talk about. Let's see. We talked about Hamvention. I talked about going to MFJ. I gotta get them on to go to MFJ. Let's see. We did that. Let's talk about W5KUB 122. That is going to be our launch today. And guys, we've started launching Pico balloons back maybe 5, 6, 7 years ago. And it was pretty difficult to get one around the world back then. We had very poor balloons. You were just lucky that one out of 50 balloons might make it around the world. And we kept experimenting and working and hunting balloons, and there really wasn't anything out there. We tried making our own balloons. That didn't work. You just can't keep the thing together when it gets up there and super pressure fills out that balloon. And anyway, we finally found some new balloons that were called 4-Gore. You know, most of the balloons that we could get that would fly were the Mylar type balloons, but they were like a pancake. You know, they weren't completely round. They were like a pancake. And if you think about a pancake, think about the volume it has. It does not have the same volume that a round cylinder or a round spear would have. So we finally ended up and found some round balloons that would work. And we took our cost. About the only thing that had a really good chance of making it around the world back when we started was a balloon called the SBS balloon. It was $178. It was 1 mil thick, and many times it wouldn't make it. $178, But we found these balloons, which we call 4 gores. Instead of 2 gore, they're 4 gore, and they make it round. They have more volume, and even though they were only 32 inch, they ran anywhere from $5 to $12 versus $178. And guess what? These balloons will make it around the world. Back then, I would tell people, if you want to make it around the world, you're going to have to launch maybe 20 times. And you'll make it, but you may have to launch balloons 20 times. But this balloon was so good. This balloon was so good, I was starting to tell people, we can get you around the world on your first launch. That's how good these balloons were. 32 inches, not very big, 32-inch diameter. They hold about 0.3 of a cubic meter of gas. We use hydrogen gas. I still have all my fingers, my eyebrows, everything, no problems yet. We're real lucky. We built this big balloon one day, and we're filling it with hydrogen gas just to test it. I didn't think about it, but we were doing that on like the deck back there, and Kathy had the grill running and cooking hamburgers back there, and we were putting hydrogen in this thing. But hey, nothing happened. All right. So anyway, we run hydrogen. The hydrogen will take it probably about 10% higher than helium will. Also, I mean, you can use helium. Helium will get you up there now. Helium will get you in the 30 to 39,000 foot altitude. And you can use, and that's pure helium. If you get this party helium, like Walmart sells, a little tank of party helium, that's going to be mixed with air and helium. And it's not going to go quite as high. It'll probably go a few thousand feet less. Okay, so now we'll establish that.
Yeah.
So we buy.
Oh, Tom, could you boost your audio a little?
What was
Some folks in the chat are complaining that your audio is a little soft.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, that helps.
That should take care of it right there. Okay. I had it off while we were working on Hambot because I didn't want you to hear all the words I was using. All right. All right. Yeah. All right, Hambot. All right. So anyway, that we use hydrogen gas for our all of our launches. Some people have trouble getting hydrogen gas. Companies won't sell it to them. We're lucky. We're able to buy it here. All right. So we're flying under federal aviation rules. People say, well, what if you hit an airplane? Well, you're not going to hit an airplane. And if you did, our tracker weighs about 1.7 grams. That's less than a penny. And so, and it's a big place up there. Big place up there, a little bitty balloon up there. A bird would do a whole lot more damage than sucking in our little balloon would. And you got to think about it. There are probably thousands and thousands of balloons that get released every year. People have birthday parties. There's probably thousands of people across the United States have birthday parties, and all these kids have these balloons with helium in it, and every one of them get turned loose. There's probably thousands of them floating around up there. Plus, the Weather Service launches, I think, several hundred balloons per day, and they're big balloons. So anyway, we're running under what we call Federal Aviation Rules 101. And there's a few stipulations in there. You just follow them. You don't have to follow a flight plan. You don't have to do anything. And one of the stipulations is the tether string from the balloon to the tracker, it has to have a breaking strength of 50 pounds or less. That's the main stipulation. Well, our tracker only weighs a few grams. And on this flight here, I used some 10-pound test line, Anyway, so basically we're flying with Whisper. And the Whisper is kind of a modified Whisper protocol. It sends 2 calls back, one real call and one fake call. That fake call has information in it like voltage and the 5th and 6th digit of a grid square, how many satellites you're seeing, things like that. So Whisper is what we use, 20 meters typically. So our antenna on this balloon is 34 feet long, a dipole, 34 feet hanging. This particular flight, we made it a dual bander, 20 meters and 10 meters. So we had to have an antenna to work both bands. So I built some little traps, and you'll see those in a minute, where we are flying a trap dipole, and each trap weighs about 1 gram. It's made from a drinking straw. You'll see it in a minute. I don't know where I was with this story, so I'm going to bring up the pictures here, and we're just going to look through some pictures here real quick. So, if you follow our Facebook group, W5KUB, there's a lot of activity about these flights, and people comment and have a good time. And this is some of the pictures you will see on our Facebook group about the flight and some of the updates. And someone asked us many years ago, well, how do you steer the balloon? How do you steer it? Well, somebody came up with the idea, we have trained ants. Ants pretty small. They don't weigh much, so we can put 3 ants on our tracker. So we sent them to school for a year, and these ants are trained. And we have 3 ants on this crew called Huey, Dewey, and Louie. And they've flown most all of our flights with us. Here's a picture of them standing on one of the platforms. That solar cell and that tracker is actually one of the platforms that we use right there. We do have another 2-man crew called Daryl and his brother Daryl. They don't fly too much, but just wanted you to see, this is Huey, Dewey, and Louie here. We've given out certificates when people track them. We've done a lot of stuff with them, had a lot of fun with them. So let's just look at some of the pictures here. They're not going to be in any order. I'm going to jump back and forth a little bit. Here's the first tracker that we were going to launch today. It had 6 solar cells on it. The platform you see there is actually the cutout piece of a restaurant takeout box. See a little styrofoam there? That's the bottom of a takeout box. And the cells are glued down on that. We've got cutouts below it to reduce the weight. That's the tracker in the center. We put that in the sun, and we had some type major issue. The solar cells weren't performing like they were supposed to. And these are cheap Chinese. They're probably rejects. They're very brittle. They're about the thickness of a hair on your head. You almost can't even solder them without breaking them. If you touch them, you're going to break them. If you look at them, you're going to break them, Anyway, this didn't work out in our testing phase. Above on each side, you'll see the antenna. This is the 20 and 10 meter trap dipole antenna. And if you look closely there, you'll see a drinking straw with some wire wrapped around it right there. And it's got a little capacitor inside. That is a 10 meter trap that went in that dipole, which gives us a 10 and a 20 meter antenna. Here's a balloon that I inflated today. This is right before the launch. You might think, well, that looks empty. Well, we only put 5 grams of lift in it. That balloon is pretty empty. But we only wanted 5 grams of lift. So if the tracker weighed 13, and we want 5 grams of lift, 13 and 5 is 18. So you can see we got the little drug scales there. We taped a paper clip to it, and we put gas in the balloon. And that balloon will pull up to where we get 18. And where we have 18 grams, that means we have 5 grams of lift, because we're going to add 13 grams of weight to it. So 5 grams of lift is not a whole lot. So that balloon is about empty. It's probably 15% full when we launch. The gas in that balloon will double every 18,000 feet. The volume of gas doubles in that balloon. So at 18,000 it doubles. At 36,000 it doubles again, and then you get up to your float altitude, and it's starting to get really tight. These balloons cannot stretch. You don't want them to stretch. It's a material that is not supposed to stretch. They're only 1 mil thick, 1,000th of an inch thick. They're very fragile. But what stops this balloon, a weather balloon, it keeps going higher and higher and higher. And if you watch, we have a video where we sent a balloon and chased it up to 109,000 feet. These balloons are different. We take these up to a specific altitude, and they float there. They don't go any higher, and they go around the world. A weather balloon will not. A weather balloon is made to, in the ultraviolet light, is made to destroy itself and deteriorate. But these balloons are not made to do that. So what happens when this balloon gets completely full, it stops going up. It can't go up any higher when it gets full. When that balloon membrane is holding it back, that is the brakes on going up. It won't go any higher. Now, that's when it super pressurizes, so you got to be able to hold the pressure. So we test pressure and different things before we launch it. But that's what the balloon looks like, right before launch. I built another tracker. I couldn't get the, looks like Huey, Dewey, and Louie had welded the solar panels on that styrofoam. Couldn't get them off, of course, without breaking them to pieces. So we went with, instead of 6 cells, and a cell will only give you, in maximum sunlight, a cell will give you about 0.6 volts. So 6 times 0.6 is 3.6 volts total. In our testing, the highest we ever got was about 2 volts. All those others, we went with 8 cells here. 0.6 times 8 is 4.8 volts. That's a much higher voltage, and we like this better. Now it adds weight. It adds a little bit more weight to it because we've got more cells, and these cells are a little larger. And these cells, they'll actually run us longer. If you only had solar cells that started off and the maximum voltage they gave you was, say, 3.2, and it started getting toward the end of the day, that voltage is going to drop pretty quick. But if you got cells that are already putting out 4.8 volts, you can see they're going to put voltage out a little bit longer. And as long as we stay above about 2.7 volts, we will continue to operate. So this one did fine. It did really well for us. That's a typical platform we used on this flight. It was just the bottom of a takeout box. We cut it out to make it lighter. That's playing around with the spectrum analyzer. That's a notch there on at 10 meters on the 10-meter trap right there. You can see it's got quite a bit of attenuation at 10 meters. And then there's a trap we were experimenting with while we were making it. We didn't use any high quality parts. That's a drinking straw, and the number of wire turns around it. Just a standard capacitor. We didn't use an NPO or any mica capacitors. We didn't have any here of the value we needed. So no telling where this thing is going to go as far as in minus 40 degrees up there. But it seems to work okay. So that's one of our traps being tested with the spectrum analyzer. That's the 6 cell laid out. Didn't work good. I haven't troubleshot it yet to see why it's putting out. I suspect preliminary test I went across each cell, and I got a couple cells that didn't appear to be putting out anything. So I don't know if it's a connection issue or if it's just a bad cell. There's the traps. What we weigh everything. Everything is down to the gram, to the tenth of a gram. Look at that right there. 2 10-meter antenna traps only weigh 1.18 grams. That's grams, not ounces. That's grams. That's nothing. So, but it does 1.8 does add that to our flight. There it is. They're testing it right there. We've got a little fishing line here to give it a little strength. There's a better shot of it right there. I have tucked the capacitor inside the straw, but on these particular ones, I just left it on the outside. There it is. There's the 6-cell one that was a failure with the antennas rolled up. Each one of those antennas, each one of those legs of the antennas weigh just a little over 1 gram. Each leg there is about 17 feet long, and they weigh in at about 1 gram each. This is another one we built with 8 cells, but we spaced them 2, 2, 2, and 2. We had a problem with these too, so I don't know. We'll troubleshoot and find out what it is. And there's the 2, 2, 2, and 2 all in series, and they didn't work out well. If we had launched that, it would have really had some real problems. There's the 4 and 4 8 cells in series. You can see right there, just out in the sun, there in my patio, right there we're getting 4.24 volts out of them. And when you get up at 40, 50,000 feet, you have a lot of UV light. You don't have any clouds. You don't have any real impurities. And the voltage is pretty high. On these cells right here, our tracker today was reporting up to 5.2 volts operating at 44,000 feet. I don't know if it's the Huey, Dewey, or Louie. We do have name tags to put on them. But that's one of the ants. This is how they looked in previous flights. We did not have them in spacesuits. We just put a helmet on them, and we have a lieutenant colonel there and a staff sergeant in the Air Force. And the one in the center there, he's a civilian astronaut. And after these guys would make a circumference around the world, we might promote them, give them another stripe, give them another rank or something like that. But they're standing on the tracker there that we actually flew. There they are right there, kind of celebrating when we reached float. We stopped going up, and they're happy it didn't explode. That's a critical time when we go up, when that balloon gets really tight. Is it going to hold it, or is it not going to hold it? And it held it. We'll know tomorrow. We'll know tomorrow if it's still up here. Here we are here. This is the end of today. You can see we're at 44,028 feet. There was 71 miles an hour. And we're just east of, that's east of Birmingham. Let me get you a different shot here. We'll come back to that in a minute. This is a spreadsheet that we use to calculate what we need to do to make it not bust and where we want it to fly. And if you look at this, you'll notice the pink areas are the green areas we input. First of all, that first green area says we're going to use hydrogen because gases have different weights. And in the launch fill, cubic meters, that's how much we're going to put in it to make it go the height we want it, or the free lift we want. So you can see on this flight, I think this is the final, on this flight we put in 0.0585 cubic meters of hydrogen. The next column over, the balloon cubic meters is 0.3 cubic meters, and the weight of the balloon was 47 grams, but we used some tape on it. We used tape on it to help seal it. So we marked the weight of the balloon at 48 grams. And then our payload The payload that has the tracker, the antennas, the styrofoam, solar cells, it weighed a total of 13 grams. We have flown them as low as 7.8 grams. So we know that this balloon will explode if we get too much free lift in it. Safe free lift is somewhere around 6 grams of free lift. Maybe you might could get by with 8. I don't know. It'll fly at 5. It'll fly at 4. 4 grams of lift will take it just as high as 6 grams of lift will take it high. It will reduce the pressure some. But the problem you have there is that if you only put 4 grams in, a little bit's going to leak out of the balloon. And after days and days, if you get some leakage and you only had 4 grams in there and it leaks down to a couple grams, I mean, you're starting to get toward the end of life here. So if you go back to the chart here, so we've set this one where our free lift is about 5.66 grams free lift. And if you look down at the differential pressure, you can see the pressure in that balloon between the in and out membrane here. The differential pressure at that free lift and at altitude is going to be 0.1743 psi, and that's a lot for a balloon. You might think that's nothing. That's a lot for one of these balloons. Then if you look over to the yellow, this tells us where we're going to fly, and it's off a little bit today. It says we should fly at 46,620. Now I've seen these balloons change altitude easily 1,000 feet up there by barometric pressure. As the barometric pressure changes, these balloons can change altitude a little bit. But we're flying at about 40. We're flying just a little over 44,000 feet right now. So that's how we gas the balloon up. Let's see what else we got here. Okay. This is one of the tracking, and on our website, w5kub.com, click on balloons, and you can track these. We got maps on here where you can track it. We got 3 ways to track it. You can track it on the APRS map, which is this one. You can track it on a map called amateur.sondayhub.org, and there's another one called Whisper TV. And all those links, you'll see it in a minute. But this tells us our speed we're traveling, the altitude. See, right here, we were only up at 19,000 feet. We were doing the ascent right here. So we were going up. And every 5 minutes, we would calculate how fast we were going up. And our ascent rate was about 170 to 190 feet per minute going up. This was at 19,000 feet. At the air moving at that time was 43 miles per hour. You can see our battery voltage here was 5.0 volts right there. And that came in on 20 meters instead of 10. And this is the crew right here. Just wanted everybody, to be notified that the crew was going to launch at 10 a.m. this morning, Central Time. Tracking them on our map every 5 minutes. You can follow it if you just go to w5kub.com and click balloon up in the top menu. You can click on balloon and you can see the tracking. Our best balloon flight has been 454 days and 25 times around the world. All right. There's a mission patch. Huey, Dewey, and Louie have their own mission patch right there for W5KB 122. The journey continues.
Yep. And right now, according to the map, you are headed for Charleston, South Carolina, and then out over the Atlantic.
Yeah, and right now and right now it's not getting any reports because it's night there. We're solar only, so we're traveling, and we're traveling about 80 miles an hour. I'll show you the jet stream in a minute. We're moving about 80 miles an hour in the dark. And the ants are asleep right now. And in the morning when the sun comes up and that sun hits 22 degrees on our solar panels, we should come back alive with reports. We hope that they're still flying tomorrow morning when we wake up and go check. Let's see. Here's the tracker. Boy, it is very, very fragile. You can see I've got the antenna rolled up on 2 styrofoam pieces. That antenna, if you touch a solar cell, it's going to snap. If you sneeze, it will snap. And you got to be very, very careful with that. Very careful. We got this flight off without breaking anything. There's a balloon. That was during some testing. That's just air. That's not gas. It's air gas is what it is. A mixture of everything. We've got it pretty much blown up to it's 32 inches. That gives us about 100. We measure the circumference, and when that balloon hits, say, it's very easy to know with cubic volume of a balloon. Just measure the circumference, and then you can take a formula. Look it up on the internet. Take a formula, plug the circumference in, and it'll tell you the cubic meters of the volume there. So there they are, and they look happy. Got a handy talkie in their hand right there. Let's go to the website just real quick, and I'll show you what Brett was talking about. Let's see. I'll find it here. Here we go. Here we go. Okay. So this is the website, and if you just go to w5kub.com, it pulls up this website, and you see up in the menu it says balloon. Click on balloon, and it will give you this page right here. We can scroll down. We have a couple options. First of all, you can see we've been flying 11 hours, 34 minutes, and 48 seconds. If you click here, I can't embed the APRS map. That's the best map, but it's right here under W5KB 122. If you click here on follow, click here to watch an APR, it gives you a much better map. I'm going to click on it, and you're going to see this map here is going to be full screen. This is the map you can use to follow it all day, every day. So there it is right there. And you can see, it's very interactive. You can scroll out, and you can X the box if you want to X the box. This picture was made right under Augusta, what is that? South Carolina? Georgia, I think. Anyway, if you click on the balloon, and each dot is when it reported. There's a report there, report there, a report there, and so forth. You can click on each dot, and it will tell you the altitude it was and the speed. See, there's going 86 miles per hour. So let's go back to our latest known place. All right, so I click on that. We were doing 88 miles per hour. Our heading was 101. And we dropped altitude just a little bit, 43,832. Voltage had dropped a little bit. The sun's going down, 4.9 volts. Now, let me see if I can go back here. Okay, that's this link here to follow it in APRS. If you scroll on down, you have a nice picture here of Huey, Dewey, and Louie. And over on the right side is tracking on Sonde Hub. You see you can see the detail above where it says location on Sonde Hub. And this map, again, this map is interactive. You can slide this map around like this. And the information on this balloon, let's see if I click on it. Well, the information for this balloon now is over here on the left side. And right now it's showing it altitude in meters. You can go into settings here and you can change it if you want to feet and miles and things like that. But this is one tracking site where you can see it here. Again, you can scroll in, out. You can look at detail. Hey, you can even click on satellite. You can actually see the buildings and lakes and everything below it where you are. So that's one tracking. That's the second tracking site. And if you scroll down, I have to get here to scroll. If you scroll down, here's another tracking site. This is called Whisper TV. This doesn't get you quite as accurate. This accuracy here is probably 20 or 30 miles off because it's only using four digits of the grid square. If you look at the grid square, Echo Mike 83, that's only 4 digits, so it's not quite as accurate. We're transmitting on the other sites. We're transmitting 6-digit grid squares, and that gets us down really close, within just a few miles of where we really are. But anyway, and if you click on a dot here, this will show you people actually have heard it. Let's see. Oh, wrong map here. I'm clicking on the wrong map. You can see this map shows people that are, hearing it. All right, so that's the third way to track it. You can see it here. You may have to hit this go to refresh this map. Now over here is the brains of it here on the left. That is Whisper. That is where we're transmitting. We're transmitting on Whisper, Weak Signal Propagation Reporter. This will let you hear signals that you can't hear. And this little tracker, even though it's running 10 milliwatts, this little tracker can transmit easily, 6,000 miles. It can be heard from here to Australia very easily. So if you look at here, you can scroll down here and Whisper, and you can actually see the time here that it received. The call letter is W5KUB. It's not 122. It's just W5KUB. So you can see here that the date and the time, and there's a 10 meter pickup. There's 14, 10, 10, 14 megs, 14s, a lot of 14s. You can slide it over. Oop. I think you can. Oh, I'm on the wrong mouse again. On the wrong mouse. Well, I can't slide it on here. My taskbar is in the way. But anyway, this shows you, if you slide it over, this will show you who received it. I'm a little concerned. We've got a little problem here in places. You see that drift of 4 right there? The frequency drifted, I guess, 4 hertz or something, and with Whisper, that's getting just about out of the bandpass. We had several times today where we had issues where we didn't get reports. I think it's because we have some drift. But if you look here, the drift is no drift, 0, 0, 0, 3s, 2s. You can pick those will pick up fine. You get down a lot lower. We had quite a few drifts. I don't know if I can get to them or not. Yes, yeah, here's a bunch of 4s right there, right in a row. 4s, 4, a bunch of 4s, 4s, 4. Look at that. I think that's the reason we missed some things. All right, so let's see what else we got down here. Okay, and one last thing.
Is that drift caused by temperature?
I don't know. It could be several things. I've had the little TCXO oscillator drift where I replace it and it won't drift anymore. It could be temperature. It's very hard to say. It's being stable. I mean, it's practically been in the same temperature up there the whole time, minus 40. It's just that there was a couple times where it drifted. So I don't think the temperature was changing on it up there. So let's look at this map, this thing here. This link I've got here is an interactive map of, this is Ventusky. And this is a neat map because, look, you can move it around. And we know the last position of the, we know the last position of the tracker was over Georgia. And we're going to zoom in. Here's the United States. We're going to zoom in here to Georgia. Well, let me zoom out a little. So Georgia's right in here somewhere. So if we click right here, just put our mouse right here. You can see the wind right here in the jet stream at this altitude at 40,000 feet. And we're flying at 43,000. But at 40,000 feet, and I don't have a selection of 43. Next selection is 50. But at 40,000, the jet stream here we're probably in is moving 76 miles per hour. Look up here where it's dark. Look there, there's 89, 90 miles an hour, 90, 104, 105 miles an hour. And you can follow this jet stream. Let me back it out. So there's the United States. You can see probably where it's going to take us. It's going to take us up to the north. And then we're going to swing around and we're going to probably come back down here across the UK. And we usually always cross right at the at Gibraltar right here. Now, if that's the case, we'll probably take the lower. But you can see it kind of fizzles out. If we're in the lower 50s, 40s, 30s, 20s, it kind of fizzles out here. And then it picks back up to over 100 miles an hour right here. So this is a good deal. And this will also, you can put on here storms, weather and storms, and you can see if the tracker is going into a storm. And this will tell you how high the storm is. Now, if this balloon goes through a cloud, through a storm, it'll come down. 5 or 6 drops of water will bring it down. So this program here will say, okay, the balloon is right here. I can tell this balloon to tell me cloud heights, cloud tops, and it'll say right there where your tracker is. The cloud tops are 32,000 feet. And if I'm flying at 44,000, I know I'm going over them. If it says cloud tops are 50,000, and I know I'm flying 44,000, I'm going through some storms. And that's when it gets tough, and you start wondering, are we going to make it or not? And that's when Huey and Dewey and Louie will have to parachute out or something. You know, they do have parachutes up there with them. So anyway, that's the story. It went kind of long, but just wanted to show you that. And I was going to show you all the rescue missions. We've got all the ants pictures taken by our rescue planes, telephoto lens. We got pictures of them in lifeboats, rubber lifeboats. We got them on the desert. We've got pictures of them everywhere of when they were rescued from 20 or 30 flights that came down over the years. So anyway, that is what we're doing. If you want to follow it, just go to w5kub.com, click on balloon, and we'll be the top balloon. And also, I mean, if you wanted to, you could see, if you scroll on down further on this page, and there's some of the pictures there that you saw tonight. If you scroll on down, you'll see some of the earlier flights. They're not all updated, but you'll see other flights and a lot of the same data. And let's see. There's one of our best flights right there. 454 days, 25 times around the world. That's it. Wow. We hope this one will do it. Okay, well, we're out of time for sure. But
we're over time.
We don't really have a time slot. We'll get cut off on shortwave. Our shortwave will not have about the last 20 minutes of the show. But that's okay. That's okay. Guys, hit that subscribe button. Hey, join our Facebook group. It's just called W5KUB. We've got almost 15,000 people in that group. And there's a lot of activity on there. Anything you want to put in here, ham radio related electronics, put it in there. There'll be a lot of activity on here about the balloon, and it'll be a lot of fun. So join our Facebook group. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. Hit that thumb button. thumbs up. And I guess we'll see you next week. Any last comments, Brett?
This is all fascinating stuff. I guess we'll see in the morning how far the balloon went. It
Yeah,
made
and
it
you
to
know,
Europe yet.
it's getting where, boy, when we first launched these, them, I was looking every 15 minutes. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? I'd get up. Is it up? Is it still running? I don't. Now we've done it so many times, you just sleep late. You don't worry about it. It either came down or it's still up. So it's fun. It's fun. All right, guys. We'll see you in 2 weeks, and Brett, you can give us a good report on Hamvention.
Oh, absolutely. I'll take video.
Yeah, take some video and stills, whatever you can do, and we'd love to see it. All right, 73, everybody. We will see you later.
It's the best ham radio show online. Amateur radio roundtable every time. Tom W5KUB keeps the stream alive. With hams worldwide, we're feeling the vibe. With Glenn KW5GP breaking it down. Building gear and wearing that crown. And Brett WY7BG shouting clear. Coming in strong from here, DD. Oh, and Mark P. Yeah, he's part of the light. So tune in every Tuesday night. It's more than mics and modulation. It's heart and soul in every station. From kits and code to satellites. We learn, we laugh, we share the nights. So grab your rig, grab your crew. It's always something cool and new. No matter